Modern life operates on a strict transactional logic. You put in the effort, and you expect a specific outcome. We measure our worth against these outputs: quarterly profits, exam grades, or the engagement metrics on a social media post. Linking your baseline happiness to events that haven't happened yet creates a severe psychological vulnerability. When your emotional state relies on a future you cannot actually control, the result is a constant background of anxiety and eventual burnout. To understand why this happens, look at a 5,000-year-old diagnosis from the Bhagavad Gita. The intellect is a boat navigating a charted course, but chasing external desires creates a storm, hijacking the intellect and pushing it off course. Once we lose that navigational control, the text states we are forced through the 3 gates of self-destruction: lust for the outcome, anger when it is delayed, and greed once it arrives. Our obsession with the end result destroys our peace. The Gita offers a counterintuitive solution to a warrior paralyzed on a chaotic battlefield. To reach the best possible outcome, stop focusing on the result. Chapter 2, verse 47 of the Gita establishes a boundary between effort and expectation. It states that you have the right to perform your work, but zero entitlement to the fruits of that labor. Assuming that hard work dictates a direct outcome is a logical fallacy. Too many external variables exist in the universe, market shifts, timing, or other people's decisions, to ever guarantee a specific reward. This flowchart breaks down the central paradox of human effort. In state A, fixating on the reward fractures your cognitive bandwidth, splitting your mental energy between the task at hand and the anxiety of the future. Fixating on the reward degrades the quality of the work. The text proposes an alternative called Nishkama Karma, or desireless action. In state B, all expectation is removed. 100% of your mental energy loops exclusively into the present action. Breaking this illusion of cause and effect severs the feedback loop of anxiety. It frees the mind from the burden of external expectations. Once expectation is removed, you reach a state the text calls equanimity. This is the ability to maintain the same mental state whether you encounter victory or defeat. The Gita treats pain and pleasure, or success and failure, as temporary perceptions. They arrive and depart like the winter and summer seasons. Because they are non-permanent, they must simply be endured without disturbing the mind. The Gita acknowledges the difficulty of this practice. Arjuna points out that trying to control the restless mind is as difficult as trying to capture the wind. Taming this restlessness requires a dual-pronged treatment: relentless practice to keep the attention anchored in the present, and absolute detachment from the results of the labor. Mastering this internal discipline elevates the individual. It allows the mind to shift from being a source of constant conflict to being a reliable tool for the self. The Gita defines yoga as skill in action. This definition moves the practice away from passive meditation and into the high-stakes friction of daily life. When the anxiety of failure is removed, human execution reaches its peak state of focus. Removing the fear of the outcome allows for total immersion in the task. To prevent the ego from reclaiming credit for this work, the Gita suggests a final surrender. By dedicating every action and effort to a higher goal or a supreme power, the individual removes the last remnants of personal desire. This philosophy is not an excuse for inaction. The directive was to engage in the battle of life, fulfilling your responsibilities with a mind that is no longer anchored to success or failure. The text describes the result of this discipline as a sage of steady wisdom. This is a person who remains undisturbed by misery and no longer chases the fleeting highs of pleasure. Detaching from the result allows for intense engagement with the world without the emotional exhaustion of its unpredictability. Liberation comes from no longer being a passenger on the roller coaster of outcomes.